What up, Spuds? Today I'm coming to you guys from my basement, believe it or not. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Recovery Crafting. Stick right there and I'll tell you why I'm downstairs. I just noticed that the video quality on this is actually kind of grainy, but I'm gonna go with it because this down here in the basement is a little bit of a new workspace that I have been able to carve out for myself. And that is, that's where I wanted to go with today. And this week's theme is carving out a little bit of creative space for yourself. Quick, brief story. When do I ever do anything brief, guys? You know that. So when I was at my worst with drinking, we were living in a two and a half kind of bedroom apartment, had lots of space, but that space was all full up with junk and bottles and boxes, and it got to the point where it started out great, and then as my disease progressed, it turned into a junkyard. And from there, we ended up moving into a camper in my in-laws' backyard. And so obviously had to leave pretty much about 80% to 90% of the stuff that we owned behind. And now we live in a small one-bedroom apartment that we have carved out for ourselves, and we earned it, and it feels amazing, and everything that's in it is ours. Like, I was finally able to, when we got this apartment, I was finally able to buy my first bed, like brand new. Nobody had ever, it wasn't a hand-me-down, it wasn't a futon, it wasn't an air mattress, like our first real grown-up bed. And that was a really big deal to me at the time. So when I got into this, my jewelry business, and now with YouTube, and with trying to help others in recovery find happiness through creativity, I've been learning a little bit about myself in that process. And that's another reason why I've told you I do this before, and I think it's totally awesome. Now, forgive me, I'm a bit unmotivated today. My glands have been swollen lately. I don't have a sore throat or no fever, nothing like that. But with my allergies and stuff like that, I think I'm fighting off a sinus infection. So my neck is extremely sore, and that's why I'm looking kind of rough and probably sounding a little rough to you today. So bear with me. But I lost my train of thought. Oh, so with the business that I've been working on and trying to build and grow, and I have slowly started amassing a whole bunch of stuff. I have bins of beads, and I have a whole bin of wire, and I've got storage carts full of organized beads and, jewelry making tools and resin making materials between molds and the resin itself, and acrylic paints and nail polishes, and all of this stuff that I use for my jewelry. And it's turned into that there's just a whole lot of stuff and not a whole lot of place to put it right now. So I've been trying to consolidate as much as possible as I buy more things and find different and creative ways to organize my stuff. But one of the things that I've noticed sometimes is that you remember being a kid and you would get set up on a project, or like you'd be in your room and you'd be home from school, and like for me, I'll just use my experience. For me, it was Barbies. I had so much Barbie stuff, I could like swim in it. And I remember being able to have a whole day where I was by myself in my room, and I would be able to take out all of my Barbie stuff, and I would set up a literal Barbie mall. Like, I would make display shelves and set out all the shoes and all of the clothes, and have different shops and stuff. I mean, I would set up the whole thing. And then come the end of playtime, or when I'm supposed to go to bed at night, the last thing that I wanted to do was break it all down. Like, I didn't even really get to play. I literally just spent the whole day making the stores, and then I had to break it all down, and eventually I would just be like, screw it, I don't want to, it just becomes, you lose the motivation. You don't want to do it again because you're like, well, crap, it takes so long to put away. And so you start to limit yourself on the activities that you want to do. And I found myself kind of having a little bit of that issue when it comes to jewelry making. I have all sorts of ideas, and I have plenty of materials in order to manifest those ideas. But since most of the jewelry that I'm making and most of the art that I'm doing is on my couch or on my living room floor, which you guys have seen in previous videos, it is rather a small space. And I have things so tucked away that it gets to a point where I'm like, yeah, I want to work on that, but it's going to take so long to open everything up and get everything ready. And it seems like a first world problem, but it can really hinder somebody's creativity, and especially people who have anxiety or depression. It seems like when something seems like too much effort, it seems easier just to sit on the couch and play a game on your phone. And that it's very difficult. Like I said, for me, it's difficult to get motivated. Today, I've literally started coming down here like 4 different times to make this video, and then been like, oh, but I really should catch up on homescapes. Or, and so I forced myself to come down here for this reason. I actually had 2 different crafts that I was planning on doing today, but this seemed like a really good theme, and I did want to get it out while this space is new, because I will probably start filming more videos down here. And nobody knows that I'm filming down here, so it'll be really funny at those times where people from the building come down and want to do laundry, which you see right behind me. So my message for everybody today is find a way. Now again, I live in a building where there's 4 different apartments, and let me finish that thought. Find a way to carve out a creative space for yourself. That's where I'm going with this. Okay, so I live in a building where there are 4 different apartments, 2 on the first floor, and then the 2nd and 3rd floors are each their own apartment. My apartment is the smallest in the building. Mine and my fiance's apartment is the smallest in the building. And we still have, we're planning on getting married this fall, COVID allowing. And we have a couple of hurdles and things in the way to getting our own place, but it is a goal down the line for us to be able to own something of our very own, which is, that's really great long-term plan, and I love it a lot. So, but I'm getting to the point now where I keep thinking about like, ooh, when we get a place, that 2nd bedroom is going to be really cool to have your own workshop and have a workspace. And if we have a garage, then we can, set up a metal shop. And, he's really interested in doing some forge work, which I would absolutely love to play around with. So I came down here to do laundry one day, and I noticed the landlord that we have has been here. He bought the building when we had already moved. We moved in knowing that the building was going to go up for sale. And we were lucky enough to be able to maintain our apartment throughout that sale. And our landlord's awesome. So I had come downstairs to do laundry one day and noticed that he had completely cleaned out this corner that I'm sitting in, and that he'd actually started painting. And I reached out to him and asked him if he had any ideas for the space, anything that he was planning on using the space for. And he asked me what I had in mind, and I told him I would just like to put a table and a chair or 2 there so that I have a space where I can bring my phone and I can listen to music, or I can watch YouTube videos while I'm working on a specific project. And this way I'm able to set my things up and have a place that is dedicated to my creativity, which to me, I think will be really motivational, but inspirational. There's a specific word I'm looking for that I can't pull out right now. Conducive I think it'll be very conducive to my business because I will have a place that I feel is dedicated to. I'm not just sitting on the couch getting distracted, putting something down, picking something up. When I'm down here, this will be my artistic space. This is my creative space. And I'll give you a quick view of literally, this is what I'm talking about when I say how something needs to be simple. Like, it's simple and it doesn't need to be, you don't need a room. I mean, literally, it's a table and a couple of chairs in a corner. Of this section of the basement. That is my workspace. And that is all I need right now to put me in the right mindset to be able to sit down and want to work on something, because I can gather all the materials that I need, bring them down here and be dedicated to working. If I'm sitting upstairs on my couch making jewelry, like I said, I'll keep putting it down. I keep picking up my phone and checking my phone, scrolling through social media apps, or I get distracted by something that's on the TV, or I realize, oh crap, I needed to do this, and I get up. It's very important, not only to myself, but I think to people who are trying to use creativity as a healing medium, to have a place that you can go where you can shut out the entire world and focus on nothing but your creativity. Creativity and art is at its most healing when you are able to, kind of like meditation, remove all other distractions and simply focus on the idea of creation. Focus on the act of creating something, of making something beautiful, of beautifying your world, of beautifying, there was a phrase, words are hard. Anyway, you get the point of what I'm trying to say, and I just wanted to share that with you, that this is a great time while we're all at home to try to find a way to, even if it's just cleaning out a closet and getting rid of everything that's in that closet and being able to turn that closet into a space to keep all of your crafting supplies, whether it's something that you have, whether you are focused on one specific medium and that is your thing. If you happen to be a painter, or if you're into drawing and you need to have your different sketch pads and your charcoals and your pencils or your watercolors, if that's the medium you choose. So you've got the fine art section of it. If you happen to be into crocheting and knitting, if that's something that intrigues you, having a way to organize your bins and stuff so that you're not dealing with, bags and bags full of yarn and you have no organization to it. So you hit a point where you're like, well, screw it. I don't even know what to make anymore. So I'm just not gonna, because you have to spend so much time going through the materials. That organization and having a space that you can go to block out the entire outside world and be your artistic self is the most beneficial way of being able to use creativity and art for helping you heal. And that is why I am in my basement, in this small little corner that I have carved out for myself. And something so small seems so important to me right now, because I have some place where I can go and just focus on art. And I hope that makes sense to you guys. And I hope that you are able to find a way, even if it's the smallest place, even if it's a lap tray. But when you have that lap tray out, if you can go into your bedroom and close the door and that lap tray is out, and when that lap tray is out, that is creative you time. And make it known that this is my time and my time is important to me. And even if it's only for half an hour, 30 minutes, whenever you can, of being able to shut out the world, stop thinking about bills and stresses, and let your mind heal. Focus on color, focus on repetitive movements. Again, if it happens to be coiling jump rings for jewelry making or crocheting or knitting, I find that very meditative. All of these things are things that I eventually will be making videos on, because they are a thing. I'm so interested in so many different kinds of arts that sometimes it gets a little overwhelming, because I don't know I'm not 100% sure what to bring you guys every week because I want to do this. And like some weeks I have like 20 things that I want to do. And then other weeks like this week where it's difficult for me to get motivated, but I still come out and I still make a video, even if I'm not creating something for like doing a project. I'm still creating content for you guys, and I'm hoping that even these videos where I talk and try to give you some motivation and some ideas about ways to use art for healing, and or just even be honest with you and turn it into a vlog and tell you why I'm just not feeling so creative that day, and that's okay. Certainly don't force yourself to be creative. But I have rambled on for 15 minutes now, but I really hope that this video has been helpful to you and that you were able to find a way to carve out some space in your life, in your home, to be able to dedicate to art and being creative and letting go of all of those stresses, even if it's just for a little while. And thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Recovery Crafting. I hope to see you next week. Please like, share, subscribe, hit all the buttons, do all the things. I love you all so much. Please make sure, reminders, trying to get to 50 subscribers. I think I'm still only at 32, so that I can raffle off so that I can do a giveaway to give out some dollar store crafting supplies. Don't think that dollar store means crap, because it doesn't. I promise there's lots of creativity there. And go and join me on the Facebook page for Recovery Crafting. Post the pictures of what you're doing for quarantine crafting. I love you all so much. Stay safe. See you all again next week.